Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Mr. Schaefer, and we are looking at variables and patterns. 1.4, analyzing a graph. The learning target will be, I can analyze data displayed on a coordinate graph. Moving ahead, what are the two variables found on the graph? Okay, much better. I just had to change a few things around. What are the two variables found on this graph? Well, we find both the variables on the x-axis and on the y-axis. I'm going to let you figure that one out. Okay? When does it make sense to connect the dots on a graph? Remember we went through this, we talked about, well, does it make sense? Is there information in between those points? Well, is there information in between 0 and half an hour? Yeah, there is. There could be the 15 minutes, the 10 minutes, the 20 minutes. So yes, it is. We can actually connect these dots. We're not going to right now. But get the data off the graph and place it on the chart. I'm going to see if you can get that off the graph. Put it in the chart. And then, so press pause right now. And then after you unpause it, you can see my data displayed in the chart. All right, here's my data. You do not have to erase it if your data is different from mine, because pretty much this is eyeing it up, okay? This is eyeing it up. Pulling from the graph onto a chart is not the best option that you could have. It is a little bit of guessing because you're trying to guess this, if it's a whole number and what whole number, especially one that the scale is so spread out for the distance. That's a problem. But we'll use your numbers, my numbers, and go from there. Now, I want you to be aware that this is the distance they are from the last city. So at 0 hours, they were 0 miles away. But then they were 8 miles away, and 13 miles away, and 22 miles away, and then 22 miles away. 30 miles away, but then they were only 22 miles away. So we'll have to look at that and explain that. 31 miles away, 36 miles away, 48, 48, 56, 63. So it looks like right here at 2.5 and 3 that they actually came back to the city, or something happened that they got closer to the city that they just left. So this is not, total distance traveled. This is how far away they are from the city. So for each of these next questions that you have on the other side of your sheet, I'm going to leave this slide up so that we can actually look at it. What might have happened between hours 2 and 4? All right. Well, between hours 2 and 4, you can see that they got further away, but then they got closer to the city, then they got further away again. So it seems to me that either they had to go back to the city, or maybe the path that they were riding on, maybe it curved back towards the city, that it would have brought them closer. Maybe they didn't have to go back, but they actually, the road that they were traveling on curved back. Those would be two explanations that I would write down for that. Next one, what do you think happened between 1.5 and 2 miles, or 2 hours, right here? It doesn't look like they got any further away. 22 and then 22. It actually looks like they stayed there. Maybe for half an hour they took a break and they didn't travel any further away from the city. Or maybe their path that they were riding on, maybe it just kind of went off to the left or right and just kept them at the same distance. They didn't travel any further away from it, but they were still riding their bikes. Next, we're looking at which intervals did the riders make the most progress. So I'm going to look for that big leap. I see a couple small leaps here, but the biggest one that I find is between 4 and 4.5. If you look down here, 8, 5, 13 up to 22 is 9, And they traveled 8 miles there. 8 miles there. 22 to 31, that's 9, 5. Oh, but 36 to 48, that's a 12-mile difference. And that's between 4 and 4.5. So that's where they made the most progress. So the next problem that we're looking for is when did they make the least progress? And we can see between 1.5 and 2 that they didn't travel any, it looks like. Between 4.5 and 5, it doesn't look like they travel any. So I would write down between 1.5 hours and 2 hours, and between 4.5 hours and 5 hours. All right, for E, which method of displaying the data helps you see the changes better, a table or a graph, and explain? I want you to answer that on your own a little bit later. But F, use the graph to find the total distance the riders travel on day 2. How'd you find your answer? Well, it's not going to be 81. That's not how far they traveled. So we can, what we can do is actually use our chart right here, and we can find out the total. So 8 plus 5 plus 9 plus 0 plus 8 plus 8, even though they went down, plus 8, plus 9 plus 5 plus 12 plus 0 plus 8 plus 7 plus 9 plus 2 and plus 7. And that would be for a total of 98 miles according to my graph. But again, yours will be different. So just add up these points and then just make sure to total them up. And that's all we have for this lesson. Make sure to ask additional questions if you have any and bring it back to class. Have a great day.